I know we used to be busy, bro. Like we used to be really, really busy. What was like your routine? Like like talk me through like Monday through to Saturday, like because most barbers work really, really long hours. So what's like your process for keeping like motivated and strong? Obviously, you do a bit of fitness here and there, which is good. But what's kind of like when you were proper heavy hitting barbering and you was just cutting hair, eating hair, basically, 6, 7 days a week. What was like your routine?
Well, do you know what my routine? Because when I first started barbering, I was heavily into it, and then there was a period for about 2 years, 2 3 years, where it was just my earning. That was where I was earning some money, and that wasn't my sole focus. But when I was solely focused on barbering over the last few years, I wanted to excel to the next level. Mate, I was working 7 days a week. I was doing Monday to Sunday. Like Monday to Sunday, I was the first one in, last one out. You remember yourself anyway. And my morning routine, my morning routine on how I'd stay motivated for the day, it hasn't changed at all. So I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning every morning, and I'd write my goals for what I wanted to
Yeah,
do.
you've been heavy on that. I know you have.
Yeah, always,
Yeah, I
always.
I remember you. I think at the time you'd even purchased like this personal development plan, which I think cost a fair bit.
Yeah, I think it was about £12,000.
Yeah, it was, but it changed your life, mate.
Oh, mate, massively. Without that, like I went on that program, and that really skyrocketed
Hmm.
my trajectory in a sense. And I'd actually do that every morning, and I still do that to this day. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go to the gym for 6, smash an hour out at the gym, come home, do half an hour of the program, and then I'd prep and get ready for work. When I get ready for work, I'll
And
always
gym was always in the morning.
religiously always in the morning. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, obviously there's
Yeah,
days that you miss out. I remember
yeah,
that.
there's days that you miss out, like your
Yeah.
body just catches up with you and you need a break. But 9 times out of 10, 5 days a week, I was hitting the gym every morning. Reason being, the one thing I believe, well, I still believe to this day, is if I go gym in the morning, that's the hardest thing I have to do all day done. Everything after that is so easy to deal with.
Right.
So I'd go gym, get ready for work, go to work. I always made sure I was at least 15 to 30 minutes early every single day. Don't get me wrong.
Nah, mate, come on. There were
Yeah,
a good few times you were late.
yeah, there's a few days that you miss your alarm, you sleep in a little bit. It happens to everyone. But consistently speaking, mostly I was in there early. Still to this day, I get to work early. And
Do you?
why do you gotta do me like that? Of course I do. You know I do. Still the
Oh,
first one here.
yeah.
And I'd prep for my clients because I was generally booked up a lot of the time anyway. And I'd prep for my clients. Like my morning routine would be I'd smash out a load of clients from 9 o'clock to about 12 o'clock, take about 15, 30 minutes break, eat some food, get back to it for another 2, 3 hours, take another 15, 30 minutes
Yeah. So
break.
what were your breaks like during work?
My brain eat hair. Now my breaks, I'd run to Tesco, get a little bite, get a meal deal or something, go into the back, eat. If I smoked, had a fag break, and then take a little 5 minutes to recuperate my energy, and then get back to work. There wasn't no 45
Do you
minutes.
smoke?
I smoke now, yeah, I smoke now. I didn't always smoke. I do smoke
But
now.
it's only recent though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's only recent. It's the older you get, you start to realize you need some thinking time. And you want to get away from it all. You just want to go for a smoke break.
Yeah, fair.
But when I was on shop floor, I wasn't smoking.
It was like an occasional thing. I
Yeah,
remember
an
that. Yeah.
occasional thing. And yeah, mate, I didn't really take long breaks because my philosophy was that if I was working, I'm working. Do you get what I mean? And being self-employed, like the more breaks you take, number one, the less you earn. And
I think what was difficult for me especially was like, there were sometimes like no matter how busy you try keep and most of the time when you set out to a goal to be busy, you are busy, but there are times when you are going to be quiet.
obviously, yeah, of
And I
course.
think those were like the most like difficult moments for me to recuperate my energy and just crack on with cutting hair. You know, when a client used to come in and you haven't done a haircut in an hour or something like that, and
You
you
don't
just
want to do the haircut.
and they just come in and you just think, Jesus Christ, you really don't want to do it.
Yeah. Your energy levels are low, aren't they?
What's your how do you go about? Because I remember you were rock solid. You didn't really care.
Oh no, I always cared, but I always tried to not show it on my face. At the end of the day,
As in you didn't really care, you know, whether how you felt about having a little break or anything. You just wanted to crack on.
yeah, I always just
Like
wanted
I
to
am.
crack on. But don't get me wrong, like if I didn't do a trim for like 2-3 hours, which can happen in a day, there's days like you just have no customers all day. It takes time, and then they all start flooding in. And when they all start flooding in, you're tired. Like when when I'll have them periods where I'm not doing a haircut for 2-3 hours, it's hard to want to do that haircut. But I find it's down to the client as well. Like sometimes you get that good client that pulls the conversation out of you,
Yeah,
and
it gets you the motivation. You get
yeah,
back in the swing of things.
yeah, and then you want to start smashing it again. You want to start smashing out all them haircuts.
Yeah. So your hours were like, you know, just religious, like what, 9 to 7, 6, 7 days a week, 6, 7 days a week.
Monday to Friday it was like 9 to 7. Saturday it was like 8:30 to 5 o'clock, and Sundays was 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yeah.
And that was just religious, like religiously. If there was people booking in, I was there cutting hair. Like yourself, like you were very very militant with obviously your work time and your work schedule as well.
Yeah. I mean, towards the end of like when I was doing a few like projects and trying to get the academy up off the ground, um, and I was working on a few other projects. I had my own clientele at the time, and I kind of just did my own sort of hours and whatnot.
And which was good. And do you know what? That's actually something I wanted to ask you today as well. Is like because I see it a lot. I see there's a lot of barbers out there who they feel like they have to work the shop hours, and there's a lot of barbers out there who work their own hours, etc. Do you really have to work your own hours? Can you really work your own hours as a barber, or do you have to work the shop's hours?
Yeah, I think that's yes and no. It depends. It depends on where you work. It depends on the relationship that you have with the manager. It depends on what your routine is like. You know, are you doing strictly walk-ins? Are you doing just the barber shop's clients, essentially?
Yeah,
Or do you have a list of your own, you know, like your own appointment? Because I remember like most of the barber shops that I've worked at, if you have if you're on walk-ins, you're on walk-ins. If you're on appointments, they're your appointments.
but doesn't that conflict with the other team members in the salon?
What as in they want to start late or finish early, like sometimes if I would do that.
Yeah. So say for example you're on appointment all day, you finish
Yeah,
your
but
last.
I've earned that. That's the difference. So I have my own clientele. I charge my own prices
Yeah,
within the respect of the barbershop.
yeah,
I've had that discussion with the barbershop owner, the manager. I've had that
yeah,
discussion. You know, I'm strictly on my clients. I charge X amount for my clients. You know, I pay my chair rent,
yeah.
and that's what I do. You don't want to be an absolute prick. You know, turn up an hour late, not get your stuff set up while everyone's, you know, had to go through X, Y, and Z, you know, in terms of like the barbershop guidelines, and then leave an hour before everyone finishes, and you just pack your stuff up and go, and you don't clean your station, you don't clean your mirror. It's not even just that you should be doing a standard, but at least contribute to the
The
rest of.
business and helping it. Yeah.
Thank you. Right. So if there's anything that needs to be done, like changing the bins out, maybe hoovering the staff room, maybe cleaning up a few dishes and stuff, so you earn your right to leave early as well.
Okay. And obviously that's something that.
Or take a 2-3 hour break and go to the gym, go home, shower, you know, have your lunch, and then come back to work, whatever your routine might be like.
But obviously that's
But
something you have to set in stone with the
well, you have
barbershop
to,
manager.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, number one, yeah, you have to set that in stone with your barbershop manager, with the manager, okay, and then you've also got to, you know, work for that right.
Yeah. Of
You
course.
can't just if you propose that while you're doing, you know, shop walk-ins, and what I mean by shop walk-ins is strictly the barbershop's clients, and you propose that idea that you just want to do whatever the fuck you like in a sense,
Yeah. You can't do that, obviously.
you get booted.
Yeah, of course. You
So
can't just come in and start calling your own shots in any business.
and so you need to ensure that the ambience is right, and you contribute to a positive environment within the barbershop. You don't want to cause any negativity, although that might naturally come.
Naturally, it does. Like people get jealous. People see that you're busy and you're building a clientele, and you get to leave, come in late, and leave early. But I think that's just part of the process
So
as
how
well.
how how do you go about like barbershop, within the barbershop, conflicts and negative environments? How do you go about that? What do you do? Like, there's nothing worse when you're a great team, and the barbershop decides to take on someone new, and they're just not the right fit, or you feel like they're not the right fit. How do you go about that?
It's a hard one because it happens in every barbershop. Like there's always going to be a conflict. Like when you're working with people for X amount of time, like you see people at work more than you do see your family. Um, I
Yeah,
think
I agree, man. Like, you're in that environment for a heck of a lot longer than what you would be with your own family, and therefore your colleagues are, in a sense, you spend more time with them than family. So
yeah, exactly. And you have to try and make it workable. You have to try and make it manageable and enjoy where you work. The way I would obviously the way I think it's good to keep the ambience up in a sense is number one, stay positive. Like you don't want to shit on anyone else's day. If someone's shitting on your day, like you don't need to throw shit back in their day. Like whoever's throwing stuff your way, give them a compliment. Do you get what I mean? Be like, at the end of the day, bro, like that's your thoughts. That's what you want to do, but that's not me. And I like what you're about. We're
I
working.
don't think you should be submissive, though.
I don't think you should be submissive. I think you need to let them know. Obviously, look, listen, mate, we've got this issue.
Go on, Tino.
You have to. Yeah, it's true. You're right. You can't be submissive. You have to let them know in the nicest way possible, of course. And
We've been here longer than you have. You shut your mouth, keep quiet.
nah, not even that. I think tell them, look, listen, the reason I do X, Y, and Z is because of X, Y, and Z. Lay the facts out to them, and then let them know, like, bro, you can get there one day with a bit of hard work. Like, if you wanna be in that position, you can do it as well. There's no need to hate.
You see, the biggest conflicts I've been in, gets my blood boil, right? Is when someone comes to a barber shop, or there's colleagues that seem to think that if this is only if you're on walk-ins, right? This is only if the whole team is like on walk-ins, and there's no appointments, there's none of that. It's just walk-ins, and
Just walk-ins.
just walk-ins.
Only walk-ins.
Thank you. And for some reason, someone seems to think that there's no like particular rotation in who does a trim first. Like, let's say you're all right. I'll give you. I'll give you.
I
I'll,
can't.
I'll,
I
gi-
get
I'll
what
give
you
you a
mean.
better scenario. Let's say it's midday. We've all done a couple of haircuts, and there's a quiet period of the day. There's 4 or 5 barbers inside the shop, and someone walks in. Who gets it? Do we all just jump up and just, oh, it's mine?
No, there needs to be rotation,
Well,
obviously.
and I think there's some barbers out there that don't know that.
Yeah, I think some barbers can get the teamwork makes the dream work
Like,
at the
can
end of
you
the
can
day.
you imagine going into a shop and they're just like, first come, first serve. Like, whoever gets up first gets to do the haircut.
But the thing is that
Well, what if there's an individual in there that travels like 30, 40 miles into work and has to rely solely on the fact that it's first come, first serve? What if you're an introvert and you don't really like that kind of conflict, and you don't want to do a first come, first serve basis?
yeah, well, there needs to be some rules set in place, doesn't there? Like at the end of the day, if it's a first come first serve basis, the business is going to go under because they're not focusing on the business; they're going to focus on themselves.
Yeah.
Like if someone's trying to build up a clientele, they leave. There's
I
no
think
clients for the other barbers.
I think the best way is, let's say the shop opens at 9. Whoever arrives first is first in line to do the walk-in. So if someone arrives at 8 in the morning, one of the barbers arrives at 8 in the morning, puts the key in the door, opens up, turns the lights on, gets set up, and then goes away and gets some breakfast or something,
He's entitled to the first trim. He's set
entitled,
everything up.
and then the second, and then the third, and then the fourth, and then the fifth.
Now, what happens? I've got.
I
a
know what your
question
question
for
is. I know exactly.
Let me ask it. Let me ask it.
Go on.
I've got my question is: what happens? It's a busy Saturday. Taking in that all into consideration, and then the shop just gets busy.
Well, then
It's a free for all, but the shop then goes quiet.
Well, okay, easily. I can easily answer that question. When it gets busy, you can't wait for the individual that started first to finish. It's not a free for all, but yeah, it's a free for all in a sense. You like, let's say for example, you were first to cut someone's hair,
Yeah,
and then the second, and then the third barber came in, and the fourth, and then the fifth,
yeah,
and now we're all cutting hair.
yeah.
Let's say I'm the last one to start the haircut, but I'm the first one to finish.
You get the next client because
I get the next client.
because the client's needs come first, obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then if it gets quiet, then whoever finished first is first in line to do the haircut. So the rotation will change throughout the day, but it's a fair change in rotation.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think that's kind of like my thinking on it. But
And I think that's important because at the end of the day, I've worked in barbershops, and mate, some
and there's been times, bro. There's one time I was working in a shop, and this guy was just, it was relatively busy throughout the day, relatively quiet throughout the day, and a person would walk in, and the guy would just go, "Hey, it's all right, bro, I got this." What? All right, bro. Like I haven't come in to not earn any money.
No, I've come here to.
So I let him do his thing, and at the end of the day, I really, really, really pushed into him a little bit.
Yeah, well, you have to.
I just told him, bro, that's not how it works.
Yeah, you have to. At the end of the day, bro, I know some barbershops have them systems down to a T, but some barbers in barbershops do have it hard. Like I've seen it, they have it really hard.
when the higher, like when the managerial structure just isn't right,
Nah,
and there's no like rules, and it's just straight free for all, bro. That is savage.
mate, it's savage, and the team doesn't get on because the team doesn't want to get on.
And there's like some really nice barbers that work in there, and they've got great potential, and the shop's just situated in a nice place, and it just goes south. But hey, look, what got you into barbering? You've got far more experience than I have in terms of being a shop floor barber. If I'm not mistaken, you're 7 years of experience.
7 years, yeah.
Against my measly, 2.5 years, 3?
That's 4 now. It has to be 4.
Well, strictly shop floor.
Shop floor. How long were you on shop floor?
2.5 years.
Really?
Yeah, that was it.
Didn't even realise.
I'm still grateful to this day. I had some really, really cool people teach me at the beginning. Like,
mate,
like I said, I was self-taught, but I worked in a shop that had some seriously cool barbers. Sam William Hill, shout out, bro.
Sam Williams, such a sick guy.
Yeah,
such a sick guy.
But he was one of the individuals that taught me a lot of stuff to begin with. And I told him, I think a couple of weeks ago, he came in, I said to him, bro, a lot of what I've done in the barbershop was based on the education that you gave me. So that was sick. So yeah, it was 2.5 years of experience.
Well, if I'm honest with you, bro, your 2.5 years of experience on shop floor is sick, because my first 2.5 years was learning.
Yeah.
And what I mean by learning, I went down the apprenticeship route. So one of my close mates, he had a barbershop, and I said, look, listen, do you want to teach me? So I went in there. He said,
it's rare to come across apprenticeships now.
Oh, bro, it's very rare to come across. People don't want to do apprenticeships. And I'll tell you why. The reason why people don't want to do apprenticeships anymore is because the same for me. He told me he can teach me, but he was a busy barber. So the time that I'm in there, supposed to be learning, he's cutting hair, and he's self-employed. So if he's not cutting hair and he's teaching me, he's not earning any money. So I've got clients sitting in my chair, and I'm literally learning as I go.
I mean, I agree, but I think I disagree, bro. I think the demand, for apprenticeships is huge at the moment, but the supply is low. And I'll tell you why. I think it's because there's no there's no there's no guarantee that whoever you teach after 6 months or a year,
They're not going to stay with you.
they might shoot off. And Barb, mate, my business partner Zach Resinato, he doesn't risk it like that. He just that's not how.
It's a volatile way to have a business.
Mate, you go and you invest X amount into this individual. You pay their apprenticeship wage, albeit not that high, but it's more about the energy resources that you put into that individual.
The
And
sweat equity.
thank you. And there's no guarantee at the end that they will stay with you. And that's, I think, you know I think that's what puts barbershops off.
That is what. But at the end of the day, bro, like barbershops are small businesses. Like for car dealerships, it's different. They tend to be quite big businesses.
Like construction firms.
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, cool.
They've got the resources in place for that.
Apprenticeships are wicked. And I think if it was set up a little bit more correctly, and if it was done a little bit more, with a bit more guarantees on either side of the party,
Yeah.
I think they would be hugely more successful, like they are in the constructive industry.
But I think it won't work unless it's a big company.
Yeah, well, like I say, the difference is that construction firms generally are bigger businesses, whereas we're dealing with a local high street brick and mortar barbershop that doesn't have necessarily the resources.
That's where the good thing where private training centers like academies and colleges and all that come into place, because it just helps bring that time down. Like I was saying, it literally took me 2.5 years to understand
Yeah,
here.
back into the story. To tell us a little bit more about.
Well, mate, it's like I said, 2.5 years to understand here, and then I went.
Why was that? Because it didn't take me 2.5 years to understand.
Because the barber who said that he was going to help me, he was busy. He was busy cutting hair all the time. I relied on YouTube more than I did learning in the barbershop, if that makes sense.
And so you did like an NVQ?
Yeah, that was an NVQ apprenticeship.
Oh, okay, cool.
And do you know what?
Completed that? You passed that?
I completed that within 6 months, which was good. But that was solely down to work ethic, because everything with the NVQ was theory based. If that makes sense. I had to do a lot of paperwork, and I'd done the paperwork, done a few assessments, and I passed within 6 months.
Oh, wicked. So how long was your apprenticeship?
My apprenticeship was 6 months.
That was
6 months to a year.
Okay.
It was meant to be a year, but I passed it in 6 months
because you got
all the paperwork done.
Okay, cool.
And then, mate, the funny thing is, I'd done the NVQ, and then I went up to London, got into barbershops, etc., told them I was a qualified barber. A lot of them turn around and goes to me, "What qualification have you got?" And I was like, you don't need it here. It's like, "Can you cut hair?" "Yeah, of course I can." "Have you got customer service?" "Yeah, of course I do." "Then cut hair." And every barbershop I went to after that, they never asked me for a qualification. They gave me a trades test to see if I could cut hair. And I always got the job. But that's all they want to see, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really been asked for a qualification ever.
Never.
And I think, if I was to get asked for a particular, qualification, it'd just be like, well, I don't get why you want one. Well, why do you want to see one?
Well, at the end of
the day, a barbershop is a business.
Yeah, exactly.
And the real nitty gritty of the business is, what's this barber's retention rate like?
Yeah.
What's his customer service like?
Yeah.
What's, the quality of his haircuts, but how quick can he do them? Because we're busy.
And mate, I've seen some barbers, some of the best barbers in the world, not a single qualification to their name. They've got barbershops that are busy.
Yeah.
Busy. And it's crazy to see. It's like a lot of places won't tell you. Like a lot of businesses and companies, like any company that offers an NVQ, like they're just that, a company.
Sure.
Like anything that to be able to get that NVQ, you need to pay a certain amount to get the NVQ.
Well, everything's a business at the end of the day.
Everything's a business.
And the moment NVQs and stuff come into play, prices tend to skyrocket.
It's like when you go into academies in London, etc. Like they charge £7,000-8,000 for courses, but you get an NVQ. You go somewhere that doesn't charge that, it's like 1,500 less.
I think it's not just that. It's not just because of an MVQ. I think that's also
Their area as well.
Yeah, you need to understand that there's high overheads.
Yeah, of course.
For being in areas like that, but yeah, I think that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, same here.
But yeah, that's another episode of So You Want to Be a Barber. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.
That was alright. You kept on cutting me off on that one. Bear. Fucking bear.
Is it?
Yeah, a lot. Just letting you know.
I feel like it's because I wasn't able to finish what I was saying.
Same.
So I feel like you cut me off.
And I feel like you cut me off.
So I think that's a good episode. That was a lot of energy.
Do you think?
I think so. Bro, Grant Cardone, watch Grant Cardone videos. Mate, he cuts over everyone. If you start to get boring, he will take that shit. He disagrees. Have you watched like any analyst videos?
Yeah, but I'm worried it's going to make me look like a cunt now.
No, because you're doing that to me. The only reason I'm cutting over you, I think, is because you don't let me finish what I'm trying to say.
And that's what I was doing as well.
So that's good, because it's both ways. That means the energy's high and we're both contributing.
Alright.